Yep, that's right. It rained all over Ferrari's parade at the Emilia-Romagna GP. This is F1 P1 Life. The lights are on. Away we go. All right, so starting off with meme of the week, of course, it's Miami GP coming up, and so I had to pull out a few Miami memes. And we got the first one here from McLaren, and it's Lando in his backyard just chilling like a little kiddie pool, and it says waiting for the Miami GP, like shades on. Yeah, I feel it. I so do. Gotta love Lando. I thought that was a perfect one to start off with. So yeah, hopefully you like it. Hit that like button and on to the next one. All right, so the next one here is from Mercedes AMG F1, and it's Mercedes hanging out at the pit wall, and it says all of us waiting for the Miami GP, and he's just kind of shaking his head and got his legs crossed and kind of antsy. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up for just about every single person, driver, pit crew, fans, all the above. All right, and what is F1 meme if it doesn't kind of cut a little deep, right? So we got this one here, and it's from a man named Ahmed Bakba. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. This is from Twitter, and he says, Carlos Sainz will finally have some peace, Miami GP. And it shows a guy struggling in the sand. This is Carlos Sainz in the Miami GP. Finally, a track without gravel. Oof. Mr. 55, man, that's my man. I'm rooting for him this season, but if you can't laugh at that, there's just something wrong with you. You got no humor. So I thought these were three great Miami memes. And I actually have a bonus one, so let's bring that one up right now. All right, and like I said, what is it like to have an F1 meme without it cutting a little deep? And this one's from F1 memes at F1 Troll on Twitter, and it says Max lapping Lewis. And it's the guy and the girl from Umbrella Academy, and they're passing each other, and it's Hamilton and Verstappen. Oh man! First of all, I love that show. It was such a good show, and just oof, that one just hurts, and it's funny all at the same time. And I just had to throw it in again. If it's not cutting deep, then is it really a F1 meme? All right, now on to stats and recs. Stats and recs. Yeah, that's right. Well, there was a few drivers that actually performed pretty well all season so far and were scoring points in every race. But after the Emilia-Romagna GP, that is down to just two drivers, and that's Charles Leclerc and George Russell. Yes, that's right. They are still the only two left in the whole grid that have scored points in every single GP thus far. So congrats to those two. All right, so this one's pretty interesting. Since the introduction of penalty points in 2014 on the driver's licenses, there has yet to be a driver to reach the maximum of 12 before hitting a potential race ban. Now, there's always been banter and discussion of whether, the FIA would really institute a race ban, especially like last season in 21. If Max or Lewis had reached that penalty situation, were they going to upset the title for it? Well, I think we all know in hindsight of 21, absolutely not. They were not going to disrupt that title fight whatsoever. But I will say, going forward, after the changes, in the FIA director, Massey being out, and some of the other rule changes that they have, I kind of feel like, yes, that they would institute a race ban on whoever it is for whatever reason, however they garnered those 12 penalty points. Now, that's just a personal opinion, IMO here, but that's just kind of what I think. And, it may change, but at least the climate that we have right now for the way that they're monitoring races and instituting, reviews and so forth, and the kind of changes that they've had thus far, I kind of think that they would. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. And this last one is a stat that definitely puts a smile on my face. And it's that McLaren's own Lando Norris has finished on the podium in the last three Italian GPs. Yes, that's right. I don't know. The Brit definitely seems to have a little Italian blood in him or something, because when he shows up, he performs. And I just love seeing it. I love seeing that Papaya team just rocking out at the Italian GPs. Too bad for Daniel on the last one. But yeah, Lando just doing his thing and just looking forward to more of it. And I just thought I wanted to share that stat with all of you out there. Time for the news. All right, I usually like to start off on a little bit of a happy note, but this one I just had to call out here, and it's Helmut Marko from the Red Bull, owner of the Red Bull team, and I think just about everybody kind of got a little turned off by his comments, even if they are, Max Verstappen fans. It's just, he kind of called out Lewis, when he was asked what he thought about Lewis Hamilton being lapped by Max Verstappen. And, all the props to Max for having a dominant car and being a great driver. And, it's something that he hasn't really been able to do much. So, I don't take it away from him. But, Helmut just came out and basically said that, maybe perhaps that basically he should have thought about retiring after last year. That's kind of a very big dig. Now, I'm all for, the cutting deep on the memes, like I said, and so forth. But this kind of stuff, I mean, especially from the owner, I don't know. It just kind of, it didn't really sit well. I'm not really upset or running around complaining or anything like that, but I just felt like it was definitely some F1 news. And, Lewis is just a stand-up guy. He came back with a kind of reply, was just generally saying that, like he'll finish his career when he's done creating his masterpiece, basically, with his F1 career and his legacy. And I thought that was just kind of classy and just the kind of right way to say it. Like, it didn't really come right back at Helmut, just saying, he's done well for himself and he'll decide on his own terms when he's finished. And I think that's kind of the thing about it. And, to be lapped by your rival and just have someone else. I mean, even Christian Horner, admits like, yeah, I mean, he's had little digs at Lewis, especially in the title fight last year, and the bickering and stuff, but never kind of just indicated that he's like washed up. I mean, that's just it's just not even believable to begin with, and it's just kind of below him. But I don't know. I guess it's not really below Helmut Marko, but it was just some news that I wanted to call out there. All right, so this next news revolves around the Miami GP, and I just got introduced to this fact just a little while ago, and it's that Miami GP has a fake waterfront. Yes, I don't know how else to say it. It's just a fake, like, pretend marina. And yeah, that's right. There's almost half a dozen yachts lined up around one of the turns, and it's just to kind of simulate like a Monaco, Abu Dhabi like experience. Beyond it just being fake, they didn't kind of, at least as of now, like there's not even like 2-3 feet of water around the boats to kind of simulate as if it's more of an actual marina like experience. But even beyond that, like without constructing something to hold in like 2-3 feet of water, which it is a pretty big space, so that's definitely thousands of gallons of water or whatever. It might be kind of difficult, but not really for these kind of people and the money they have. But it seems like only part of it is blue. Now maybe it's going to change before race and before practice starts and all that, so maybe it will be all blue underneath the boats. But it just kind of, at least at this time, it kind of looks like most of the boats are beached, so it's just kind of funny looking. Now I will say overall, yeah, it's gonna make it for a more interesting background for that turn than it would be just like another Heineken poster or something up in the background. But yeah, definitely very interesting, and I had to call that out because I just found that to just be very odd and peculiar. But again, it's probably gonna look better than anything else that could be there. So props to them for just trying to do something. Now, final topic for discussion here is actually a potential Ferrari power unit upgrade for the Miami GP. Yeah, that's right. There's been discussion that they have finally worked out their, final updates to their power unit, and they should be able to have full power going forward into the Miami GP. I've heard talks that there shouldn't be any kind of holdback in what they're going to be able to do. Now, is that going to translate into just qualifying time? Is that going to be pure race pace the whole time? I'm not quite sure. I would expect it to be more of a race pace is what they're looking for because, they're trying to extract. And now the times that I see, and you always hear about the upgrades and the expected time performance that they're going to get. And this one I saw, times upwards of 0.4 of a second, almost half a second. I feel like every time we're given these kind of times, it's always like maybe 20% at best, at the end of the day, what they end up finding out of these. So But, even if they come out with a 10th, that's a big difference when you're talking overall for a whole GP. And it makes all the difference when they're comparing themselves to Red Bull, who tend to seem to have pretty good, straight line speed. The other thing that I do want to call out in that is obviously Ferrari, since last year and even into this year, which was evident in the Emilia-Romagna GP, was that, their tire degradation later on in the race for sure is definitely more significant than especially Red Bull. And so what is that added pace going to do to their tire degradation? We'll see what this power unit upgrade for Ferrari is going to do for them and how it's going to affect their tire management and so forth. But, I know they're looking to come back after their terrible home race. And so, maybe this is going to be just what they needed, the way that Red Bull was able to come out of the gates just screaming at Emilia-Romagna GP. So we shall see. So just recapping on last week, there was definitely a delay in the DRS and, especially Twitter just lit up. I personally felt like, once everybody went on to mediums, that was kind of the point in which DRS should have just been activated. For me personally. Now, I get all the sort of things like, what if everyone switches up to mediums and then 3 laps later, they just, start spinning off and so forth. So, they got to give it time still. You can't just say, oh, everyone's on mediums. Okay, DRS activated. But it wasn't the craziest GP. And, other than turn 1 at the end of turn 1, and even that was very hard, when there was a DRS train eventually. So, I kind of wish there was more than one DRS zone in Emilia-Romagna. And the delay in the DRS, it's just something I want to talk about and just call out real quick because, it was almost like a quarter or a third of the race before we even had that. And then, once it was activated, it kind of made a difference for a few people, but not really that much. So I'm not even sure how much the delay really matters. So I just wanted to talk about the topic, and I'm not sure if I'm even still one way or another on it. Now, definitely unlucky for Sainz. He was looking to come back, and he definitely had the opportunity, and, Daniel just kind of shunted him a little bit, and that's terrible. And obviously, Charles just had one of those flops, and we've all heard it before. He's on it, and then he just has this mistake that he'll make, and it just all goes wrong, and it's so bad to see. And it was just unlucky for Ferrari. Again, like I said, it was just raining all over them, literally and figuratively. Now, with that said, I want to call out, McLaren is back on top form, at least a little bit. Now, obviously, Daniel wasn't able to finish, but I feel like if he was still in the race, he would have finished into high points gathering for sure. He would have been up there. And obviously, Lando finished on the podium. So to start off at the back of the grid, I mean, I knew McLaren was kind of on the back foot, but obviously when they started off in Bahrain, it was just, it was just absolutely atrocious. But I said from the beginning, to doubt on McLaren, to think that it's all over for them, you must be insane. Now with that, I also want to call out Aston Martin, because I said it at the beginning of, the warm-up for the Emilia-Romagna that Aston had a lot to really prove. Number one, I said that they'd be 5th in the constructors. I'm not quite so sure how that's going to pan out, but, that's neither here nor there. But, it is Aston Martin, and, they were Racing Point before that. They got Vettel on the team, and I think, they're lucky to have Vettel, because Vettel has done a lot for them. That's really good for them. They needed some of those points that Vettel was able to bring in for sure. And of course, is due also to some people falling out and so forth of the race and DNFing. But, I think he still would have been able to nab a point, and to grab a couple, that's just great for them. Other than that, I need to mention that the upcoming Miami GP is also Haas's first home race of the season. Yes, that's right. And I would love to see Mick finish in some points. Oh man, that would really top it off. Both of the Haases in the points would be great. But Mick deserves to get some points under him. He just needs to have a clean race weekend from beginning to end, and I really hope that it's this weekend. All right, and that's it for your weekend fill. Hopefully, Ferrari can pack up the umbrella this coming weekend and get back to top form as they started the 2022 season with at the Miami GP. I really wish I could be there, especially since May is my birthday month, but it just was not to be. And that's all right. Perhaps maybe I'll be there for the Vegas race. Who knows? But till then, be sure to leave those comments down below. Hit that subscribe button and that like button as well. Help me continue to bring all this kind of content to all of you out there. I appreciate all the support so far, and I expect to do a lot more for all of you and gain a lot more support as the season unfolds. I am really looking forward to the rest of 2022 and Miami especially. That's right. This is F1 P1 Life. As always, I'm your host, Sean Kilburn, and I'll see you next time.